This is part one of our full costing methodology lecture. We're using a step-down approach to allocate cost of a nursing care agency. We're using the term step-down because this defines the process whereby we're allocating support services one to the other and then finally to the final costing objects, which in this case are direct patient care areas. There are some specific steps related to this process, and we're going to go through first few steps in the first lecture. The first thing that we want to identify is what is the goal of our step-down process. We need to define the final cost objects related to the methodology. The final cost objects are generally focused on patient care areas and generally focused on the revenue cycle items that essentially we're using to define what are the billable services. In our scenario, we want to identify the costs associated with patient care services, direct patient services, as well as patient education. In these cases, in a nursing agency, these are these revenue producing services that ultimately are billed to the patients. Once we've identified that, what we want to do is we want to identify the direct and support cost centers. In our scenario, we have two direct patient care areas. The direct patient care areas, again, are the patient services. These are the direct patient care services. And the other piece is patient education. Perhaps we're providing education for diabetes or some other types of services related to helping patients learn how to care for themselves. What we've also done is identified two indirect service cost areas. This includes housekeeping and administrative support. Housekeeping is fairly self-explanatory. Administrative support are the things such as billing, accounting, human resources, and so forth. And as you can see, what we ultimately will end up with is a highly complex process in terms of allocating. We've also allocated cost items in differentiated salaries and supplies. The salaries, these are the direct salaries allocated to housekeeping, administrative support, patient care services, and patient education. The total salaries in this case is $438,000. The supplies for the four areas total $190,500. And then we have the totals coming down here. Now, what we ultimately want to do is make sure that these direct patient care services are allocated in such a way that we understand the complete cost associated with these with the patient care. In this scenario, what we've done is we've estimated the number of billable hours to be 10,000 hours, and these 10,000 hours are directly related to these patient care areas. The next piece of this is to distinguish between direct cost and indirect or support cost. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to allocate the supervisory salary of $55,000. The supervisor is billed out of patient services. However, she also provides supervisory activities to patient education. So the first thing that we would like to do is to go through a scenario whereby we are allocating this. So let's look at this. So what we're assuming is that she provided 7,000 hours to patient services and 3,000 hours to patient education. The next column, what we've done is we've allocated this based upon a pro rata distribution or a simple relationship. And if you look at the formula bar here, and I always relate this to the Excel formulas, is what we've done is we've divided patient services by the total. We've created a percentage, so it's 70%. The 30% is simply the patient education divided by the total. And of course the 100% is the sum of these two items. I put this here more as a quality control check. Now, we know that the administrative salary was, or the supervisor's salary was $55,000. What we need to do at this point is to allocate this to two separate areas, patient services and patient education. So multiplying the $55,000 by 70%, we get $38,500. Multiplying 30% times $55,000, we get $16,500. And of course, this totals $55,000. So the next piece in the calculation relates to allocating this salary that originally was in patient services and now moving it over to patient education. So what we've done is we have the exact same table that you've seen before, but in this case we've added an additional line. The additional line is adjustments for salary. This line means that we are subtracting the $16,500 from patient services because, again, the supervisor is paid out of patient services cost center, but she also provides services as a supervisor to patient education. So we're subtracting that from patient services and then adding that to patient education. So what you see here in the total is that everything equals exactly what it did before. The difference is that we now are allocating the amounts to the patient services and patient education. Those are the only two numbers that change. The next piece is to begin to allocate the support services. We are going to be allocating the support services of housekeeping based upon square feet. And we call this, back to the methodology, a step-down approach, because in a step-down approach, what we are doing is one support service is providing services to another support services. In this case, the cost basis, or the cost driver that we defined, is going to be total square feet. So the given information is that administrative support has 1,250 square feet. Patient services has 3,000 square feet, and patient education has 2,750 square feet, which equals the 7,000 square feet that we have listed in the description. We do the exact same thing that we did before, is we do a pro rata distribution, or a simple percentage. So the administrative support services represents 18% of the total square feet. So it's 1,250 square feet divided by 7,000. Going forward, the patient services is 3,000 square feet divided by the total of 7,000, and so forth. Now, what we have is we have the total cost of housekeeping based upon the prior information of $45,500. So we are now allocating this cost based upon these percentages. So if we multiply $45,500 by 18%, we get $8,125, and the process continues. So this $19,500 represents 43% times $45,500, and so forth. So now what we're doing in the next formula is allocating housekeeping to the various departments. So what we've attempted to do, and we've done it successfully, is we have subtracted housekeeping of the $44,500 from itself. So housekeeping is now zero. So now what we end up with is one support service and two direct patient care services. We are allocating this housekeeping based upon the formula that we have in the prior calculation: $8,125 to administrative support, $19,500 to patient care services, and $17,875 to patient education. So in the end, what we see is that we still have the same total of $628,500, but we have allocated this to just 3 departments. Now, in our next lecture, we're going to complete this discussion and show how that we now are going to allocate administrative support to these last 2 areas so that we can come up with a cost of patient services and patient education.